I'm breaking down the Sacramento Kings versus Golden State Warriors series. This is my breakdown of the series. I've just broken down some numbers. First thing I just want to point out is it's interesting to see how similar these teams are statistically when you look at their stats. So, for example, the Sacramento Kings are number one in the league in offense at 120.7 points per game. The Warriors are number two in offense at 118.9 points per game. Both of these teams are what I would say mediocre defensive teams. This year, Sacramento was 25th in defense in the league, giving up 118.1 points per game. The Warriors have been terrible defensively this year, also giving up 20. I would say 117.1 points per game, and they're ranked 21st. So defensively, Warriors are ranked 21st. Kings are ranked 25th defensively. And offensively, Warriors are ranked number two, while Kings are ranked number one. So they're very similar. They're offensively loaded teams that are just obsessed with outscoring their opponents. In the past, the Warriors have been a good defensive team. I'll give them that. But this year, that hasn't been the case. So this is a series where the scoring will be high. Both teams have the firepower to match each other. I took some averages of the players. So I only did 3 games this year because I didn't feel the last game that these two teams matched up was legit since the Sacramento Kings were not playing any of their key guys. So I just discarded that game for the stats I calculated. So this is just for the first 3 games that they played each other. So I just want to read down some of these averages, mainly by the Warrior players. So Stephen Curry averaged 35.6 points per game on 51% from three and overall 58% shooting. That lets you know that the Kings defense is terrible. You can't have a guy averaging over 35 points and shooting 58% overall from the field along with 51 from three. So Curry has gone off every time he's played them this year. He's too comfortable, as they would say, that he just feels he can get whatever he wants against his team. The Warriors the Kings can't lock him down, but they have to find a way to just contain him. These stats are just godly stats. They're video game stats. They got to do a better job. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to find a way. The Kings how to slow him down. Klay Thompson has putrid numbers against the Kings this year. So in the 3 games, I calculated that he's averaged 13.6 points per game, 34% overall from the field, 46 from three. Even if you shoot a good 3-point percentage, when you shoot 34 overall from the field, that to me is detrimental for your team. So he's been pretty bad. Wiggins, to me, really stands out. He's second to Curry and just how dominant he's been against his team. His overall field goal percentage is 68% from the field. He's shooting 39 from three, and he's averaging 25 points per game. So 25 points on 68% shooting is insane. That's out of this world. He's going to be the X factor in my eyes for the Warriors. I feel if the Warriors win this series, it's going to be because of him. Just he has extreme confidence against his team, and it shows. You can just tell by the numbers. Now, looking at Jordan Poole's numbers, they were not good either. They were what I would call putrid numbers. He averaged 14.6 points per game. He shot 43 overall from the field, 42 from three. But like I said, if you're shooting below 45% overall from the field, you're a detriment to your team. That's why I look at it from an efficiency standpoint. You're not helping them because even though you're shooting a high three percentage, your overall field goal percentage is hurting your team. Draymond, I broke down his averages a little bit more in detail. So he's averaging 8 points per game and has 47% overall from the field shooting. He's averaging 7 assists and 6.3 rebounds. That's pretty much his career average he's getting against them. He's been terrible from three from them, so I don't expect that to get any better. But those are his numbers. I wouldn't say they're out of this world amazing or anything like that, but they can live with Draymond getting what he gets. And I only broke down 2 players from the Kings because I feel after De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, the rest of that team, I would say 3 to 6, Harrison Barnes, Herter, I'm just looking at the other, Keegan Murray, just those guys are on the same level. I would say Malik Monk, they're very close when you look at their stats overall. Let me just pull it up. I'm not pulling up their stats against the Warriors, but just overall stats, they're about the same. So Barnes, Murray, Herter, Malik Monk, those guys are in the same vicinity. I didn't want to waste too much time, crunching their numbers. I think the Kings are going to lose the series based on De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Those two guys have to be great, I believe, for them to win. Granted, the role players had to step up, but it's going to really hinge on those two guys playing great and Sacramento finding a way to contain Curry and Wiggins. So when I look at Sabonis' numbers, they're actually pretty good against the Warriors this year. He's averaging 21.3 points per game against the Warriors, 15.6 rebounds, and 7.3 assists. He's shooting 52 overall from the field, 40 from three. So he's playing really good against them. He's putting up good numbers. De'Aaron Fox is averaging 25.3 points per game and 8 assists, along with shooting 51 overall from the field, 33 from three. So De'Aaron Fox has been also great against the Warriors this year. Granted, his three-point shooting is just average at best, as they would say. But overall, he's been great. So has been Sabonis. This series is really going to come down to, if the Sacramento Kings want to win this series, it's going to have to come down to them finding a way to contain both Wiggins and Curry. I think with Wiggins being rusty from being out for so long, I think they will be able to slow him down the first few games. So I'll make it interesting. I would love to see the Sacramento Kings win this series. I think this series will go 6 to 7 games, but I just don't trust them in the clutch, in the situation in the fourth quarter when the game is really close. I just think because they're inexperienced, they'll make some boneheaded decisions. Unfortunately, I saw that being the case in those 3 games this year. I watched the fourth quarter of each of these games, and they were close. And every time in the pressure situations in those games, except for the one game that the Kings won, they made dumb decisions, time after time. So I don't think they'll win this series, but I wish them the best of luck. I think this will go to 6 to 7 games. Wouldn't surprise me if we go 7 games. We'll see. Hopefully the Kings will win this series, but I have the Warriors winning it. I would love to be wrong, but that's all I have to say about it.